You just gotta sit and think sometimes. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, every day I wake up, I'm like, there's no way this is real. Not like in a like, oh wow, like everything is so miserable, like type vibe, but more in a like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I just wake up every morning confused as hell, like just naked and afraid every day. I'm like, whoa. But I'm also like, what a better way to live. Like, is there a further peaked life beyond that? That's the sad thing, because I know there is. Ugh. Like, I don't even want to think about that because it just makes me, like, genuinely, like, upset. But, like, life in so many countries is just, like, so much better. Like, we have it, like, very, very well already. Like, there definitely are so many privileges that we are just, yeah, like, served hot and fucking ready in America. But it's like, there are so many countries that don't have, like, all matters of access behind the doors of like private institutions, which is like so lit. But also I think about this as well. There's this thing called like the relativity principle. I don't even know if that's what it's fucking called. But it basically just says like, if you have just like something, or wait, I just every day I just wake up and open my mouth on things that I don't know about. But I'm also like, once again, what a better way to live. I'd love to know what a better way to live. I'm having a good time living life, learning things on the side. Like, I'm having an enjoyable ass experience, and I think it is because I'm continually clueless. I feel like being out of the loop has saved my life. Like, I've realized, like, the only way for me to, that's why I'm so nervous to get like an actual like job this year, because I'm like, I have been babysitting for so long so that reality is a mere concept. Like, life is not real whenever you work with kids. I mean, like, oh my god, life already was like so strange, just like me, like, yeah, like within my individual self. But then I was like, the fact that like literally I work with kids, I'm like, that is such a fucking trip. Like, that is such a trip. Wait, what the hell else was I saying though? Yeah, just life isn't real. It is enjoyable whenever you're clueless, because like sometimes you just have to like take yourself out of the mix. So, like, because so many people will be like, oh, the world overwhelms you, like XYZ overwhelms me. And the thing about me is like, if something's driving me crazy, like if something's actively like driving me like a little bit like off the rails, then I'm just not going to welcome that circumstance in my life anymore. And no matter how unconventional it is to not have that thing, I will do without it before I do with willing degradation of my standard of living. I'm not doing that to myself. Sorry, but so many people like are like afraid of tapping out. For me, tap out is a welcome and familiar concept. Not in the sense of like, oh, I'm a quitter. Well, I am a quitter, but I'm like, I start as many things as I quit. And that's the whole point of it all anyway. It's just a like motion. Like, what? I feel like that makes sense. Well, let me rephrase that, because that just sounds like I just like see challenge and just dip the fuck out. For my thing is, I love challenges, but I also, even more than that, love knowing that I'm putting myself in situations that I can thrive within. That does not mean that I shy away from circumstances before I'm able to gauge my comfortability within them, but it does mean that whenever I start putting myself in those circumstances, I am going to be aware of and make it a priority to keep an awareness of my comfortability, my level to, yeah, actually maximize my skill with whatever it is and implement that into whatever it is that I'm working on. Like, I know that literally the only way to bring the best version of myself to the people that I hold with importance, or the things that I hold with importance, is to make sure that I can be the best version of myself outside of that circumstance. Otherwise, it can happen, but it's not sustainable. It is not sustainable. It's like the same way that, like, whenever you, like, if an actor was to come to work and, like, be in a shitty mood, shitty, terrible mood, you can go ahead and kill that show. You can go ahead and kill that season, maybe the whole series. But at a certain point, you're gonna break. Because if you are playing a role in which, like, that's why acting doesn't have to, well, yeah, analogy extended. Not actually just on the topic of fucking acting being a sustainable. Hi, cats. They love me. I love when pets love me so much. I really, really enjoy it because I'm like, I gotta be doing something right if this bitch literally comes up into my realm, into mine self, like, and is so comfortable with that. And I'm like, oh, that is so fun. That is genuinely so fun and so exciting. And I'm like very, 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 yeah, happy about that. I really do enjoy the cats being here. I really, yeah. What the hell was I even saying? Hi, cats. Hi, cat. I know you love that. Oh, you're so happy. I'm so happy. Aww. My car broke down, and it made me I was, like, very excited to, like, kind of head on that whole operation, and then my fuse burnt out, and it made me very upset, because I was like, to hell with it all. But, I didn't freak out. I did not freak out. And I'm like, my increasing ability to not even, because I feel like my thing is anything, anywhere, yeah, kind of on par with what I was saying before, anywhere that I can't keep my head on straight, it's not something that I can do for more than a temporary amount of time. Because my thing is, like, in two facets. One way being, I struggle to do things that I cannot validate the reasoning behind within myself. And then also, whenever I am, oh, wait, what was the second part? Oh, wait, it was the most important part too. And the only not obvious one. Oh, whenever I do continually put myself in circumstances that do not serve me and that counteract my well-being, it also diminishes my self-perception of my ability to self-preserve. So it makes it so that my confidence in myself to act in ways that are in my best interest is so greatly diminished whenever I have that cognitively dissonant moment of, like, this isn't good for me, but I'm going to keep on doing it. And it literally extends to every single square inch of my life. Like, I do not look out for myself the way that I should and the way that I know how to and that I want to be actively doing whenever it could be something so unrelated to a circumstance, but whenever I continually disseminate that message to my mind, my body, my spirit, oh my God, its echoes are heard in every square inch of my being. And that's why I'm like a very, like, our conflict, our whatever, anything, even if it's like, well, yeah, conflict, oh my God, our interaction, period, could literally, oh my God, that's the freaky thing about cats. I love cats, but, like, why is it that you turn around next second, leg up, head down? What? Whoa, what? I think that's normal for them, though. Like, that's just like a rite of passage type vibe. What the hell was I talking about? Basically, long story short, I feel like was my computer really not charging? That's beyond me. But like, our interaction literally could be completely unrelated from a circumstance, but whenever I have that message disseminated to the rest of my body, to every inch of my being, that I do not put myself in circumstances that serve me, because I am a very narrative-based person. I was talking about this yesterday, actually, but because I am a very narrative-based person, it makes it so that, like, I do not remember the fact that I need to prioritize myself. Like, I do things best whenever they are continually in practice, and whenever they fall out of practice, the fact that the narrative that I'm drawing reference to is that that wasn't something that I was able to maintain, even if it is like was something that I maintained for a really long time. If I can draw reference to the fact, like, I didn't do that in the time that I needed to rely on myself to do that, then I'm like, oh, I can't do that at all, which isn't true. First of all, that's fucked up and sinister. And it makes it just so that I have, like, very black and white thinking. But I feel like these self-identifications, like, so many people, I'm so big on this, like, holding myself accountable to my maladaptive, like, patterns and to my maladaptive, like, mindsets, because so many people, so many people will, like, stray away from identifying things that are necessary within themselves to identify, or, like, anything that's, like, like, productive for them to identify, whether it's a good or a bad thing, because I feel like people have this, like, very large fear of self-perception, because whenever you see yourself as more than your role in other people's lives, then you actually have to analyze your actions and your interactions and how they feed into the person that you want to be in the future. And that was a really hard thing for me for a while, because I didn't see myself with the future. I had a very, very negative relationship with my perception of my ability to be well. So for the longest time, I didn't hold myself to any standard, because I was like, why would I if I don't know if I'm going to see, like, next year, which is, like, very sinister. And I'm glad that I was able to, like, even if I was still in that place, I feel like I have this very, very largely instilled sense of, like, I have adopted as my self-proclaimed life purpose to learn every single thing that it is to know that I can, within my reach, of course, like, within my realm of exploration, everything that I possibly can about life. And at first that manifested as, like, a very large interest in, like, books, like, concepts, like, things that I see, like, I want to build a house, I want to work with cars, all that. Those are, like, very largely maintained, like, interests and whatnot. But then I got into the fact that, like, to be able to get all of the things that it is that I want, like, I was self-isolating a lot, because I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it all myself. But I was like, that is the part that makes so many of these things possible. So I kind of had to reason myself out of isolation and into community. And then I realized, like, life really is only at its peak whenever I can say that there are people within my life that we have a symbiosis. Like, for the longest time, I just, like, shut myself off, because I was like, I'm not finding that anywhere. So I'm not going to keep exhausting myself and draining myself and degrading my sense of being to be able to attain these relationships. And I feel like I've maintained that same narrative, but it's the fact that, because the circumstance of being at home, all white area, like, literally no friends, to being in college and opening myself up to, like, the possibility of outside, like of, like, legitimacy and of, like, genuinity and bonds and whatnot, it's like, wait, what the fuck was I talking about? It was just a really nice thing, because it's like, I get to afford myself the opportunity to care about my interactions and learn how to best treat the people around me. And I think it is such a beautiful thing to get to know people, to get to know things that they like, that they don't like, what makes them feel good, what like stuff that they hate. Because I'm like, I have found so much joy in finally being, like, afforded the socialization that I never had a chance to even access before in where I, like, am from. And my biggest, like, the key to maintaining that ability is understanding other people as more than I understand the human experience objectively. Like, long story short, it's like no generalization can be drawn from person to person, because like certain things could make somebody tweak that somebody else loves. But I'm like, that's the beautiful thing about getting to know somebody. Like, that's why it irks me whenever people like call people that they care about like too sensitive or like too XYZ. Because it's one thing if like someone has poor communication skills, like nothing has ever been communicated for you not to feel that that is like a comfortable thing. But it's another thing if you are overriding the ability to analyze someone's emotions because you want to stop where it's easy, or you want to a lot of the time insensitivity is bred from conformity, like in group settings. That's another reason I realized like I am not the best version of myself. At least in this phase of my life, I have not been able to be the best version of myself in like friend group settings. So I've realized like developing interpersonal relationships without like a pre-established like conglomerate is like the most important thing for me to do. How was I gonna say? Yeah, but it's like I don't understand why people call people that they care about too sensitive, because I'm like, if you are choosing to give someone the level of access of someone that you hold that close in your life, then why is ever your objective to get something resolved efficiently rather than comprehensively? Like, things do not need to be like a boom, 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 it's done, for you to still be in a state of comfortability the next day. I feel like people are so avoidant to conflict, and that's what literally destroys so many bonds, because of the shame around like struggling with yourself and around this is all via capitalism, by the way, because whenever you are told that if you don't have yourself in check, you are going to be penalized rather than rehabilitated, however the fuck you say it, then of course your relationship with that is going to be like, oh, if like I'm literally like, yeah, like on a timer, which like sucks, because it's like, that's why you see so many people, like if you're struggling like mentally with school all the time, like people will literally shut the fuck up about it until like the last days, because they're like, well, I know that to be able to get grades and like that I need and to be able to do XYZ, because it's not like if you're not having a good time like before high school you could take a year off, or that you even have the autonomy to move at your own pace without being penalized for it. But like very legitimately, whenever you are always told that self-improvement has to happen on a timer, you are going to develop a very uncomfortable relationship with self-accountability, because you have only ever resolved things efficiently, which unless you were already bred into efficient communication, like unless your parents already exercised that, all of your circumstances have allowed you to develop that, you are probably going to struggle like literally everybody else in this world. All 18 or 1.8 billion of us, however the fuck, like you are going to have a very human struggle with that. And that is the hardest thing to legitimately like feel and to sit with, because knowing that you're gonna have to be uncomfortable in the type of discomfort that you cannot override by a narrative. That's that visceral. That's that deep down, I lie awake about this and think about this at night. Or because of this and think about this at night. Like, it gets very dire. But, here's the silver lining, ladies and gentlemen! We don't have to sit in that shame. Because that shame, I've realized, shame is self-pity. Rebranded, repackaged. But it is the same root feeling. And pity is bred from the feeling of decreased agency. And I think I might have been talking about this literally yesterday, but I tell myself, I have this talk with myself like once a day whenever I'm sitting there like shameful about some bullshit that I did, because I'm like, shame is the enemy of proactivity, because it makes it so that you focus your energy following a conflict on demeaning yourself, degrading your perception of your capabilities. Like, you focus it all on the self-identification, but if you don't self-identify and take that somewhere, then you are sitting in that self-identification. And it makes it so that whatever change you make afterwards is equated to your feeling of self-identification rather than wait, of course. Okay, so it's already equated to self-identification on both ends, but it makes it so that you are focusing on your identification of your comfort within, your comfort rather than your actions. Wait, no. So it makes it so that you're focusing on your comfort in a circumstance rather than the other party's comfort in a circumstance. That's not applicable if it's a self-development thing. It makes it so that whatever. No, because it's coming. Oh, it's coming. Ready? It makes it so that, let's start there. We have the template, we have the form. So it makes it so that you equate your ability to do something, or you equate your growth past that point to reestablished comfort rather than reestablished growth. Yeah. Because I feel like, and this also connects to capitalism, because community isn't something that we can all just like access, because we don't have the time in a work day to talk about our struggles with like the dynamics of self and like learning about ourselves while we learn about the world around us, because there's literally not enough time on the dime to do that. There is such a struggle with that feeling, because that feeling of discomfort is supposed to be remediated within community. It is supposed to be like ultimately remediated by change and by growth. But the reason that so many people struggle with that self-accountability is because it all comes down to being able to have that discomfort within yourself, to have that humility to be like, I am not acting within the best version of myself. I am not being the version of myself that is the most conducive with my goals in this circumstance. And it means that you're going to be dealing with a very unshakable feeling of, what is it? Of clear, not even clear self-perception, clear self-perception. Because the only time that you are ever honest with yourself, whenever you are kind of socialized in a world that profits off of self-hatred, if the only time that you can be real with yourself is whenever you do not perform within your abilities, your first narrative that you always draw reference to is going to be like, oh, I'm such a shit person. Oh, I'm so terrible. Oh, I can't change. Oh, because all the change that you've ever tried to make is on a timeline. You are plenty capable of change. You are plenty capable of bringing all of the things that you want to do into fruition. It's literally a matter of seeing yourself as beyond one version of yourself from one circumstance. You need to be able to, and it's not like overnight you're just going to be able to be like, you know what? I am kind of lit. Good for you if you can. Like, lit bitch, young lit bitch. That's fine. That's great. That's literally amazing. Like, that's the ultimate goal. But it's also like, that's why everything boils back down to variability. You literally just need to be able to remind yourself, although, yeah, I fucked up. Yeah, that was nasty, terrible, heinous thing for me to do. That version of myself is not the version of myself that I bring to every single circumstance. The version of myself that I am in school is not the version of myself that I am at home, is not the version of myself that I am with myself, is not the version of myself that I am with other people, is not the version of myself that I am with pets, my parents, my friends, my XYZ. You are continually dynamic, not just throughout different circumstances, but different times. The version of yourself that you woke up as today is not the same version of yourself that you're waking up as tomorrow. Every single day, you add another 24 hours in the accumulation of your understanding of the world and of yourself and of how all of it works with and around you. So you are never going to be on the same page that you were 0.5 of a second ago. So for you to sit here and crucify yourself I'm not even going to say that to be able to understand this, you need to not be able to do that, but you do need to be able to acknowledge to the fact that it is completely variable. I could bring this version of myself to another circumstance if I'm binding myself to this perception, and then that's the framework that I'm working inside of. I could also be a hell of a lot worse, but I could also be a hell of a lot better. And that's where it comes down to, because I feel like my biggest thing is like, I did not low-key like so many things about life before, but I feel like because I am a very logic-based person, learning how to kind of like how that reasoning just kind of works, like how all of that adds up, like in my mind, helped so much, because I'm like, it's not like by any means like I became like someone that's able to like admit my wrongs and like all these things like overnight. No, it was not. But a lot of the realizations that led to the feelings matching the actions came from like logic and reasoning. Like I didn't like feel that way about my circumstances whatsoever, but whenever I like reason through the fact that like really everything is fucking variable, whenever I realize that, because whenever you're at rock bottom, it's like the world is your oyster, low key, because no matter what you do, you can't go lower. I promise you that you can't go lower. So why not realize not a single thing we see is real. Not a single thing we see is fact. The only thing that we can ever take as fact is the experience of each other. Like low key. Low key. Observed experience is low key the only thing that we could take as fact. Emotions are the only facts. What? And good night, America. I'm going to leave you on that note. I'm going to go watch Glee. I'm going to go have a good time. I am going to go think about what I'm taking home with me tomorrow. I'm going to go... I think I'm going to twist my hair tonight. What? I'm going to go... I don't fucking know. Long story short, blessed life. This Snuggies lit as fuck. Shout out. Actually, I'm not gonna say any of my clients' names on here. That is kind of like federal. No, but shout out. I'm like a master of all trades, low key. Like I do what? I babysit. I'm a personal assistant. I'm a tutor, and I'm a housekeeper. And there's something else I'm forgetting. I do freelance makeup, but I haven't done that in so long. The other four are like in continual rotation. Like that's a weekly vibe. But like I got where the hell was I going with this? I got this from one of my clients for personal assisting. It's so lit because like so much of the time they're on like decluttering journeys, because like I help with whether it be like appointments, like day-to-day things that need to get done, or like I actually love the like physical aspect of being a personal assistant, because I'm like, I always want to like up some feng shui. I'm always trying to like redevelop, recultivate like some sort of environment. So it's like getting free range. And one of my clients wants me to do like like bottom up, ground up that bitch, like interior design, like his apartment. I'm like, oh, that is so lit. That is so lit. I'm like, that's so much fun. Fun lit circumstance. Like I'm having a good time. Everything is well in the world. Actually, I need a lot of money, and that's okay. That's okay. That is okay. That is okay. I'm 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 okay. Okay. I need to remind myself sometimes, because I find it very easy to tweak out whenever, if I'm saying something, it's the same thing if I was hearing it, because I'm saying it and hearing it. But it's like if I was hearing myself say like, oh, I'm doomed, then I'm gonna be like, fuck, I'm doomed. But I'm like, I'm not doomed. I have been so down under before in like so many circumstances, and I've come out to see the other side, not always beautifully, but with a beautiful result in some way, shape, or form. I've either learned, but I don't want to learn through resilience. That's why I should show up for myself today so that I have an easier life tomorrow. That being said, I'm going to, how can I show up for myself tomorrow? I am going to wash the dishes. I'm going to sort through any clothes that I want to bring with me home. I'm going to bring any books with me that I want to bring home, or should I go raw? I'm nervous to go raw. I think, because it's going to freak me out, because I'm like, I have... Okay, don't think about it twice. It is okay. It is okay. It is okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just nervous because I'm like, I pack heavy, especially with books. I pack way too heavy because I read fast. So I bring like a lot of books with me, which is always low-key it's justified because I don't like staying on the same book for a long time unless I really get hooked. Like, I'm hooked right now. This one's called White Oleander. I started this one this morning. It's very good. But I'm like very just like, as soon as, cause I like hyperfixate on books, like for, I hyperfixate on reading for months at a time. Usually like, I want to say like 4 to 5. I mean, considering I literally just started recreationally reading again this year and I was off for like 3 months. I don't know if I can draw a pattern from that quite yet, but because I really do, like, whenever the circumstance provides, even if it doesn't, I'm like, fuck, I really enjoy reading because I don't like being on my phone anymore because it just stresses me out and I don't like being able to see the time all the time. But I'm like, I do like being able to have like media, like, and entertainment and like good vibes sometimes. And I also like just was not watching TV literally until like a month ago. I think it was literally a month and today's the 21st. A month and 2 days ago was the first time that I even attempted to use a downstairs TV. Before that, I used to pirate shows, but then whenever Soap Today got canceled and all the other all pirating websites are just so overstimulating, I was just like, okay, to hell with it all. To hell with it all, in fact, because that really freaked me out. And then I was like, okay, I'm just done. I'm done. So yeah, I just stopped watching TV for like a matter of months, but then I also wasn't I like dropped off the face of the earth, but I'm like, that is the best thing that I've ever, like, that's why I'm like hyped that like I'm like back on YouTube, because I'm like, I like being able to disseminate my ideas and just know that they're out in the public, because also like I know that my videos only get like 2 views, but I'm like, that is okay, because I like sometimes just like putting out information and knowing that it's being disseminated to people beyond myself, even if it's for 0.5 of a second. I'm like, what I have to say is important, and what I have to say is what makes me me, and I love being able to have my thoughts received. So even if I'm not aware of where they are received, how they are received, XYZ, knowing that there is, yeah, I think it's just such a crazy combo, because I like just don't talk to anybody and then I disappear off the face of the earth. So I'm like in like a very like low-key era, but not in like a, oh, like that's really lit way, but like in a like, that is a like just a tinge concerning, but not in like a sinister way though, because I'm like, I'm well, like I am definitely well, like some days are ugly, I'm not gonna lie, but like I am well, like overarchingly well. So I'm like chill, like I'm at the self-identification where I'm like, yeah, no, I'm chill. But it's also just like, I sometimes I'm just now realizing I literally took 5 minutes to explain the concept of talking, because that's because I literally live under a rock. So it's like, if I like, it's funny because like starting to like interact with a lot of people at the end of the year again, like I've literally had more links in the past like week and a half than I have in the past 6 months. So I'm like, that's really strange and very like very weird and like new. But like, it's so funny because whenever I'm talking to people, I'll realize like in passing that like I over explain just like normal like human experiences, because I have not bounced those ideas off of anyone in so long, or like thought about those as like, yeah, like human experiences within like interactions, because yeah. And it's like, fuck. And like also because like what the fuck was I about to say? I feel like I'm so much better now at talking to myself than I am at talking to other people, which the two used to be equal, but because now I didn't talk to other people for so long, now I like very much struggle with like I mean, there were definitely like confounding factors and whatnot, but I feel like I have lost my ability to kind of just say something and have it just be, yeah, like fucking received as that. I always feel like the need to fucking like, yeah, literally like explain something for 1,010,000 hours because I just don't, because I'm not well versed enough anymore. I don't even want to say that because that sounds very definitive, but like I feel like I'm just very I'm just like, let me find an analogy. When in doubt, when in fucking doubt, it's like, it's like if you were to leave the States, if you live in the States, or if you were to leave civilization and like go live like with the wolves or some bullshit for like a decade, coming back and explaining like talking to somebody, like explaining the concept of talking is like what I sound like explaining the concept of talking, because I'm like, I but like dead ass though, in its finest, most simple components, very genuinely, like I really enjoy just like having my thoughts received. And I feel like it low-key is deeper than just like talking, because I feel like my thing is also I have grown very out of touch with my interactions with other people, because and I'm always like, oh my god, I'm literally just talking so fucking much, and I'm like, people know this already. Like that is just a known fact of life. If you are in my life in any capacity, you know that I can talk for fucking ages. So I'm like, there is no need for me to just continually disclaim who I am, what the fuck I'm doing. Very genuinely, life is better whenever I'm clueless and everyone else around me is just as in the dark on my affairs. It's plain as that. It's honestly fucking as plain as that. Yeah, that's basically it. But yeah, that's life. That is, yeah, okay, that's it.